any data on whether Thompson can play tomorrow night?
No, he won't play tomorrow night. He did not participate in practice today. So again, when he's able to practice and he's able to go through contact, and if he does well with that, then he'll be cleared to play. But he did not participate in practice today. He did a little work on the side, but no, he will not play tomorrow.
Is he still going on the trip?
Yeah, I believe he is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
We were saying that on TV the other night, so I'm just checking. Are you enjoying just I don't know, it seems like more fun for everyone now. Are you kind of soaking that up and finally?
Well, I'm enjoying the fact that these guys are still competing on a high level, and I was really excited about not just the fact that we won our last game, but just kind of how we did it after we had a bad performance against Detroit, and less than 24 hours later we were able to come back and put together a solid game against Orlando, who had been playing well. So I'm excited. I'm excited for the guys with that, and I can see that they enjoyed it, and that was fun, and it was fun for me as well.
Do you think, when LeBron was here and the team was in the conference finals and NBA finals every year, Kevin Love at times seemed like it was, he was like the odd man out. Do you think now he's back and the team is playing so well, do you think people might really start to appreciate how good of a basketball player he really is?
I think we all appreciate how good he is. Certainly when Brown was here, there were different circumstances involved. But with Kevin, what has surely, is pretty obvious is how much we've missed him. All the games that he's missed, not having that guy to play through made it very difficult. Now that he's back, you can kind of see that we play with a much better flow. We play with a much better rhythm with him out on the floor. And I think with him, if you were to talk to him, you were to ask him, I would think right now, as tough as it's been for him this season, as tough as it's been for us this season, he's in a good place, and certainly, with him out on the floor, just makes us a different ball club. And everybody, I think everybody really appreciates what he brings to the table. I mean, we know what he's capable of. We know what we've been missing with him being out. We're just really glad that he's back, and we're hoping these last 18, 19 that we have, that we'll be able to take off the minute restrictions tag on him, to where we just allow him to play and be the type of player we know he's capable of being.
How close are you to that minute restriction?
Yeah, I don't know. That's something I'm going to have to talk over with our with our medical staff. But we've been gradually bumping his minutes up. So I'll have a conversation with them prior to our game tomorrow night against Brooklyn to see if we can go over minutes.
I know this sounds crazy, but considering how long he's been in the league, but it almost seems like everything is coming together for Kevin. Like he's more comfortable in his own skin, being a leader, the whole.
He's in a good place. No, he really is in a good place.
Yeah.
I just being around him and my conversations with him and hearing how he's engaged with his teammates and how he's engaged with the coaching staff, and mentally he's in a really good place right now. And I'm really happy to see that.
How has Brandon changed from the time you saw him in Milwaukee?
Brandon Knight.
Yeah.
Obviously, when he was in Milwaukee, he was healthier, but he still has that same competitive drive, that same competitive spirit that he had when he was in Milwaukee. His attitude is phenomenal. He comes to work every day, and he competes. The only difference is the fact that. He's dealing with, coming off the injury, and he's probably not back to total form, but he's moving in that direction.
How would you describe his work ethic?
Tremendous. He is a tremendous worker. I remember telling the story to some of our coaches, just having to, there were times where we just had to keep him out of the gym because he would play we play a game that night and he'll go to the practice facility that same night. But his work ethic has always been there. And that's something that you'd never be able to question that kid about. He's a tremendous worker, and he's always looking to get better. He wants to be better. And he's a workhorse. Yeah.
And then, have you had to talk with Tristan Thompson about all this business with him on the internet with, I think it's Khloe Kardashian. I can't keep up with Kardashian.
No, I don't talk. That's not my place to talk to him about that. That is not my place. My conversations with Tristan are only strictly about basketball.
But how does he keep that from being a distraction?
How does he keep it?
Yeah.
I think that's something you're going to have to ask him. I can't answer that one for you. I know for any player that goes through anything, to want to know how they feel about it, I think that's something that you would have to probably ask him about.
I'm curious as to why you think that Colin Sexton has been so much better in clutch situations, especially as of late. Do you think it's just more of having, repetition, or is it just a combination of things like Kevin coming back and comfortability of being in those situations?
I think it's a combination.
Yeah.
I think it's a combination of, and you said it, having Kevin back, it takes a lot of pressure off of you as far as not having to make the play. We can play through Kevin, and Kevin being the willing passer that he is. If you're open, you're going to get the ball. I think Colin is starting to learn to play with Kevin a little bit. Also, putting him in those situations a little bit more. I think the more he's in it, the more he'll learn from it. I think having Deli in there as well, I think it helps Colin a lot. We've gone through the situations where we've had Deli and Colin there together, where we've let Deli handle the ball a majority of the time, and then we've done it where we've let Colin handle it a majority of the time. So he's learning. And the thing about Colin, he's a sponge. He's a sponge. He kind of soaks everything in, and he's always looking to be better, looking to get better. But those two things alone, having Kevin back and just putting him in those situations a little bit more has really helped him.
So the decision making is kind of rubbing off on him because he's letting it fly now from three, and then the play he had in New York too when he went to go drive.
Yeah. He's making some good plays. He's really making some good plays. But there's still some plays where he's got to be a little bit smarter with.
Like slowing it down type?
Yeah, there are times towards the stretch of the game where he's dribbling into traffic where he can totally avoid that.
Okay.
And that's something that, as time goes on, he'll learn. Yeah.
Can I ask you one more about Thompson? Has he had a setback? Because a couple of weeks ago, you said he had really good practice, and it seemed like he was getting close to playing.
Yeah, well, the protocol is for him to once he goes through his rehabilitation, he has to come out and practice, and with all of our players that have been hurt, if they can go through a full practice and come out of the following day and not feel any kind of discomfort, then they will be deemed ready to play. And he did practice. Following day, he was a little sore, so we backed him up.